to get asked about Caitlin Clark and Indiana, and I'm like, guys, like, just relax. Like, they're gonna figure it out. They've got to learn how to play together. You know, she's thrown into this league right away, and she's gonna figure it out. And she did. And she's going to see all kinds of coverages. She's going to see all kinds of matchups. And so for us, working on how to become a little bit more.
Stephanie White just dropped a statement about Caitlin Clark's gameplay that has some fans a little on edge. But before anyone hits the panic button, let's break this down. Stephanie White is a brilliant coach who knows exactly what she's doing. And honestly, this could be the move that sets Caitlin and the Fever up for a championship run. Let's dive in.
She thinks that the Indiana Fever are a title contending team for 2025.
Is it realistic to say that this team is a title contender in 2025?
I mean, I think on paper, certainly. You know, you look at it, and look, our goal was to bring in experience, to bring in players that can complement our big three. You know, I didn't know that we would be able to build the depth that we were able to build in year one. You know, I thought that was going to take a little bit more time.
All right, Fever fans, let's take a deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now, let's talk about what Coach Stephanie White said that sent some of you spiraling into near meltdown mode. She mentioned that Caitlin Clark will have occasional moments playing off the ball, and suddenly Fever Nation's acting like they just witnessed a turnover in crunch time. What do you mean she won't have the ball? Relax, people. No one's banishing Caitlin to the corner like a background player in a 2K simulation.
From a conditioning standpoint, but from a rhythm and timing standpoint. So that becomes the next challenge. But getting more efficient in everything that we do. You know, for us, moving her off the ball a little bit more so she's not getting worn out in game, just handling the ball 94 feet. And then we're challenging her on the defensive end of the floor as well, like being a better defender. You know, the best for us as an opponent, you know, you want to attack a good offensive player by making him play on the defensive end, putting him through the ringer. You know, so being a better defender, you know, and I think being more creative.
Let's break this down logically. Caitlin Clark is one of the most gifted playmakers women's basketball has ever seen. Her vision is elite, her handles are pure craft, and her range? Straight up Steph Curry, level disrespectful. So yeah, it might sound strange hearing that she won't always have the ball glued to her hands, kind of like watching a basketball game without a single foul call. But here's the twist. This is actually a good move.
But turnovers number, because there is context to turnovers. That's not saying Caitlin Clark didn't turn the ball over a bit too much, especially early in the year. But ironically, the turnover numbers did not tell the full story about her turnovers. There were games where she committed 9 turnovers, where 7 of them were quote-unquote good turnovers, 2 of them were bad, and there was a game where she committed 5 turnovers and gave up 5.
Stephanie White isn't out here playing checkers, people. She's playing chess. Think about it. Defenses already treat Caitlin Clark like she's radioactive when she's bringing the ball up. Now imagine her running off screens, cutting to the basket, or pulling up for a quick catch and shoot 3. That's nightmare fuel for defenders. Picture this. Clark sprints around a screen, catches a pass from Kelsey Mitchell, and before the defense even blinks, splash. 3 points. No wasted dribbles, no triple teams, just pure buckets. Let's be real, have you seen how opposing defenses treat Caitlin the second she crosses half court? She's getting double teamed like she owes somebody money. Defenders act like she stole their lunch back in middle school. If she's always the primary ball handler, she's constantly facing traps, pressure, and defensive schemes built to wear her down. Playing her off the ball in spurts gives her cleaner looks, keeps the defense guessing, and helps her save energy for when it's time to take over. Which, let's be honest, she always does.
You're not a competitor, you're not going to last. And it doesn't have to be to win at all costs, right? It's just how you do what you do every single day. Like for me as a human being, like if you're leaving your shopping cart out in the middle of the parking lot, I'm judging you. You're not going to be on my team, right? Like you're not going to be on my team. If I'm watching you and you're on the end of the bench with bad body language and not being a good teammate, like I don't.
Besides, let's not act like this is some crime against basketball history. Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, spends plenty of possessions playing off the ball, sprinting through screens, and letting his teammates set him up for open looks. The Warriors built an entire dynasty around that strategy. And if it works for him, it can absolutely work for Caitlin. So, Fever fans, here's what I need you to do. Trust the process. Caitlin Clark isn't about to turn into some stationary spot-up shooter collecting dust in the corner. She's expanding her game, adding another weapon to an already ridiculous arsenal. In fact, this adjustment is going to make defenses even more miserable. So let's all take a deep breath, put the pitchforks away, and get ready for a season where Caitlin Clark makes defenders question their life choices, whether the ball's in her hands or not.
The off-season workout footage of Caitlin Clark probably noticed the same thing. She looked like she bulked up a little bit. She looked like she got a little bit stronger. And that was confirmed by Fever coach Stephanie White. I mean, it was confirmed by our eyes, but she also said so in a Q&A with The Athletic, talking about the physical strength that Caitlin Clark added in the WNBA.
Listen, let's be clear. Caitlin Clark is still going to be the primary ball handler. She's still running the offense, dropping dimes, and pulling up from 35 feet like it's a contractual obligation to take at least one logo 3 per game. But here's the key. Stephanie White isn't treating Clark like a one-woman superhero who has to do everything all the time. She's approaching this from a Michael Jordan perspective. Think about it. When MJ first entered the league, he tried to do it all. He'd drop 50, lock down on defense, and then wonder why he had nothing left in the tank by the fourth quarter. Then Phil Jackson stepped in and said, "Hey, maybe don't play like a my-career player with max stamina every night." That shift changed everything. It extended Jordan's career and turned the Bulls into a dynasty. Caitlin Clark's situation is eerily similar. At Iowa, she was the system, point guard, shooting guard, small forward, water girl, and team spokesperson all rolled into one. She brought the ball up, created her own shot, ran the offense, and still somehow found the energy to drain logo threes in crunch time. Now, in the W, she doesn't have to do all of that every possession. And that's exactly what's going to make her even more dangerous.
And I'm curious to Caitlin, and what was that conversation, if you can share any of that?
Yeah, I spoke with Caitlin last night, and I think just overall excitement. You know, I have been watching Caitlin play since she was an 8th grader, when I was coaching at the college realm and covering her games in college, and just an exciting time for me. Very excited to be working with her and this young team.
Not to mention, there's some pretty cool symmetry. You wore number 22 for the Indiana Fever. I mean, maybe it's too soon to say, but you could potentially be coaching the last player to ever wear 22 for the Indiana Fever. That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. I saw when they posted that today. I thought it was unique, certainly. She's a lot better, number 22. She puts the ball in the hole.
That kind of workload just isn't sustainable in the WNBA. You can't drop 35 points and 12 assists every night while getting double-teamed by world-class defenders. That's how you go from MVP candidate to permanent ice bath resident. So what's Stephanie White's plan? Simple. Let Caitlin Clark play off the ball at times so she's not completely drained by the fourth quarter. That means fewer games where she looks like she just ran a marathon by the final buzzer, and more games where she's fresh enough to absolutely cook defenders in crunch time. And let's be real, playing off the ball isn't a punishment. If anything, it makes Clark even more dangerous. Defenses already panic when she has the rock. Now imagine her sprinting off screens, catching quick passes, and launching deep threes before defenders even have a chance to breathe. So everybody chill. No one's turning Clark into a glorified decoy. She's simply evolving, adding another layer to an already absurd arsenal. And when she's dropping effortless 30 pieces because she didn't have to carry the entire offense for 40 straight minutes, y'all will be lining up to thank Stephanie White.